This broadcast from IOF TV is brought to you by Commentators and Lumonite.
Hello and welcome to Czechia for the second round of the World Cup 2023. We are here for a series of 4 races to take in both town and forest for the next round of World Cup points. We're going to be in the forest with the very, very classic Czech limestone pillars later on this weekend. But first of all, we have got the 2 sprint races to bring you. The athletes have already been running for the last few hours, and we're going to bring you live, first of all, the culmination for the men's race and then for the women's race too. It's pretty exciting course. There's some quite unique parts to it, like the part here you can see in these monastery gardens, and it's going to provide certainly some challenges for the runners here today. We've already had quite a few runners through into this arena finish. In fact, some of the top runners going quite early on in the start list, but we still have our favourites towards the end as well. It's quite a nice arena around here in amongst the park and in amongst the trees. It's going to be the same one for today and for tomorrow for the sprint relay, and there's orienteering fans from all sorts of nations who are here to cheer on their teammates as well. Big teams, of course. We've got some teams with up to 8 or even 9 runners taking part in these competitions, and this just kind of gives you an overview of the challenges that they're going to be facing. It's quite an old town that we're going to be in, this old section of town with all these orange roofs. We've got some good detailed bits in this monastery you can just see the picture of here in the bottom, and also in the old castle as well. Quite kind of distinctive bits with some fairly kind of average European kind of sprint terrain in the middle, kind of between all of those as well. Let's have a look then at the requirements for today's course. For the men, of course, we've got that 4-kilometre distance, that estimated winning time of 15 minutes. And our current winning time is 15 minutes and 11 seconds. So expect that to get quicker and quicker through the course as well. Lots of excitement though here in the arena, as particularly the Czech fans see their favourites coming into the finish. But let's have a look then at the course in more detail, in lots of detail. Jonas, talk us through it.
And you can see we start with a very short control. We're not starting inside the arena due to the fact that there will be other competitions as well. Then a long leg to the second one. There are different options. We will surely come back to that. Quite many different options actually. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, another couple of shorter controls. Course planners, they try to keep you occupied all the time in order to not let the runners prepare the long legs, as we have another one from 9 to 10. At around control 7 to 8, at control 8 we have the TV control, and there we are for the first time in a castle, so a very interesting bit. Then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and those controls. It's very tricky there. There are different levels. It's hard to understand if you just look at the map. I'm sure that the runners prepared well for this bit. If you just would look at it from here, I think it's almost impossible to just figure out how it works within a few seconds of time. So good with preparation. 17, 18, another long leg, another kind of task there with different levels from between 18 and 20. And then it's just very easy 2 controls towards the finish.
Yeah, so a bit of a mix of the shorter and longer legs with the route choice, and you really have to be planning ahead at the right time for these, don't you?
Yeah, you have to plan, and it's tricky. You are occupied all the time, and you have the chance to do it a bit tactically when you have you plan a route on one leg. You can already try to prepare the next one and figure out, especially in the loop, where to go later on in the race. But this is a look at this first to second control. We see the different options here. We think that the orange one is quite good. The purple one is quite okay as well. 2 meters of difference, you won't really feel that. No matter what you take there, purple or orange, execute it without any hesitation. Try to use the time when you get it to prepare for the following controls. But otherwise, in executing here on this leg, there's no problem at all. It's more to find the route choice on the first hand. And then here, this is the section where we have different levels. So you can see that halfway on 11-12 there is a difference in level. I'm sure we'll see the pictures here. So now we are on the top level, out from control 11, and there's like a theater kind of thing there in the middle where you can get down to the lower level. You can see it here.
You could drop down there. You can also drop in the other.
Or you go around here and take the stairs down. One advantage here, if you drop down in this theater, is that you will already see, you can already spot control 14 if you look to the right, so you can kind of plan ahead from there.
But they knew there were levels. It was in the final bulletin, so a lot of the teams will have prepared a map for that particular part. But here's another of the route choice legs.
Yeah, you can see even here different options. If you go around on the red one, you don't have to get down from a higher level, just from the street down to this school.
The light blue was the best one.
The light blue is the shortest one, at least.
Yes.
And I think it's also the best one.
Yeah, you can cut across the square, and you kind of have to double back on yourself to get into the control. Here's the kind of how the control actually looks.
The tricky thing here is you have to actually see that you can get through there. It's not too easy to see. I think it's a bit wrong on the route, like how it was shown in the graphics. You have to go to the left there, down to this lower level, and kind of under the bridge in order to get to the next level. So it's not very easy to see, but it's faster if you see it.
Okay, this is the start list then for the men. We have lots and lots of runners, 128, although if we have a few non-starters like Emil Svensk, I think there's some illness going around the Swedish camp. And of course, those with the most World Cup points are going to be starting towards the end, so we do have Matthias Kibbert starting last. But any favourites you want to pick out on this list?
Well, you named it already, Matthias Kibbert, the last starter, one of the big favourites. Kasper Fosser, those two every race they start in, they're kind of among the favourites. But we also have the sprint specialists back. Yannick Michels, definitely one of them. Jonathan Gustafsson, August Molin, Tim Robertson. He was also running the forest race, but definitely with bigger chances in the sprint races. You can see Emil Svensk on the list here, but he didn't start, as you can see as well in the graphics. Same for Florian Hovald. Those are the favorites. At the moment, we have Mats Eidsmo in the lead, and you named it, a few quite competitive early starters. Oskar Andrén for Sweden started early due, of course, to the fact that he doesn't have so many appearances in the World Cup, so an early start time for him.
No, I think that was his third World Cup race, and Mats Eidsmo, his third ever World Cup race after two forest races as well. But that was the last starter. Then here's the current leader, Mats Eidsmo from Norway, coming into the finish. And he has taken his place on the leader's chair. You can see they run past a big screen just to their left, and they can kind of check out
Yes,
the final few paces.
A 1 second lead ahead of Oscar Andrén.
And do you think the end result could end up that close?
Yeah, but not among those two
Well,
runners.
no, not among those two runners, but...
But definitely, of course, it could be close today. It's even though it's tricky, it's totally doable. And as we mentioned, the runners are prepared. I mean, there have been maps before. You could work with that. Definitely, I think that it's gonna be a tight race. See different options. Not the best way out from Andrén from control 1 to 2.
Yeah, you can see he's already lost time there. But must be pretty quick through the rest of it to catch up, I guess.
Yeah, maybe we get a glimpse of where they had different approaches. Looks quite similar here. There was
Maybe
a mistake by Eidsmo. Then another one here on this route choice. I think there would be the chance to go north to get from the north to control 10 as well to avoid these level differences.
But let's catch up then with some of the runners who have already started. Here's the Frenchman, Luca Basset. And this is the kind of the first look around this castle area. It's quite a small castle, but if you haven't, there's loads of details of what walls you can cross, you can't cross, where exactly the control is. It's quite tough around there.
It's very hard to spot that there's only one entrance and exit. It's the same. You have to get the same layout as you come in. It's very hard to kind of read the map ahead because you have so many controls. You have the route choice first and then 2 or 3 shorter controls just before this control. So no time to prepare at all.
Yeah, and then you either have to head out immediately left, like he did, or go right and go out of the castle to the east and then go all the way around. So it's it's everything suddenly comes at you really quickly when you get to that point, and you just had a bit more kind of classic orienteering, classic sprint orienteering, and suddenly you're in this castle. You've really got to be quite prepared for it, I think. Here's Tina Porsini from Switzerland, number 101, heading out of the start. Immediately into the map reading. It's very, very short number 1 as he passes out of the start, but there's good visibility there.
Yeah, you
it's
could
not
also,
too technical, but you've got to try and plan
kind
them
of see the control already from the start point.
Yeah, I mean, we can see it, right?
You can see it there.
You've got to be careful. The men's and the women's control there is different, the different first control.
But I mean, the idea behind is just to keep the runner occupied to the first control and then not give them time to prepare the route choice.
That looks pretty good there. So back to the castle then, and split number 1.
Control 8.
Number 7 is just outside the castle walls. And then number 8 is in these ruins. It's quite a cool place to be. Okay, let's head back then into the finish. This is Timo Oksanen. And the Finn is running really, really strongly here.
This is the
last control. Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward end, and this looks like it could be a new leading time here. Finishing right now then. This is going to be a new leading time. So Timo Oksanen from Finland takes a new leading time. 15 minutes and 1 second is the new time to beat.
And you can see that we are already at those 15 minutes. I also got the feeling when we were pre-running that it's quite a fast course. I don't think, already then I thought it was not going to end up at 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's not too many direction changes. You can feel like you have quite a good flow through everything. And there's not too many kind of stairs or steep slopes or anything like that. It's not a flat area, but I don't know, it's not very hilly at all, really.
So here we continue with the comparison from
this is
15, 16. Oh yeah,
and
but you can see the end of the course here. Different route choices also to control 18, where we think that the Oksanen's option is a bit better. And again, different options to 20.
I think it's more key that you go around the top to 20, from 19 to 20. go to the northeast of the.
And something that's very obvious is that there are many different route choices executed by the runners. So good work by the course planners.
So we wait for Chris Smithard then at the finish.
Not really going to be a threat though.
There he is.
Or shouldn't be, at least. No.
He's certainly going to be behind the lead, maybe on for a top 10. No Chris Jones on the team, on the British team this year. No Megan Carter-Davies, actually, although we'll come to that, I'm sure, when we talk about the women's race. But Chris Smithard fighting towards the line here into a 7th place. And I think Chris Smithard, Peter Malloy and Nathan Lawson are all within a second of each other, I think, there on the British team. Okay, back to the monastery and the gardens, and this is a descent.
I think it's Luca Bassi, isn't it?
This looks like a late kind of change then, not going directly down those steps. Well, this looks like into control 14, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Just trying to...
Yeah, it's the only time you should go to the right there. Either he's wrong or then he's going to 14. But
I was surprised that he would. He must have gone up and down then, because you shouldn't be going down in the amphitheatre there. You could come up from the bottom from 13. He climbed and dropped again.
Yeah, he might have gone around to the left, but then he lost a lot of time doing it. So it wasn't, for sure, it wasn't the best route. So maybe we can see it here. What you've seen is the route, or like we have seen him on 13 to 14. We also see the different routes to control 9, and where I think that Oksanen had the better option. Then here, actually, Basse's route is quite okay, because you don't have to go into this tricky bit to control 10. So let's see now what he's doing to 14.
Yeah, I think he goes up and then goes down again, yeah. And then underneath.
I mean, it's okay, you can do that. Go up from 13 in the middle there, and then you have to go down, drop down there. It's definitely an option.
Absolutely. So another of the Swiss runners here at the start, Timo Suter. Huge teams here selected for these World Cups. Long starting list, especially when we compare it to those World Championships a couple of weeks ago. And actually, you know, for people like Timo Suter, if he knew he wasn't going to, when the selections came out, wasn't going to be part of the World Champs team. For those type of runners, is that an advantage?
To not
have run the World Cup.
I mean,
run the World Champs. Sorry.
Well, I guess for him it was not the biggest surprise that he was not able to run the World Championships. For teams like in the Swiss team, it's very hard when you have a few runners that were quite clear spots for the World Championship. So I think he could switch it quite early. And I mean, if he would have been able to run the World Champs, it would have been a bonus for him. So I think definitely, but what they don't have, the runners who have not been running the World Championships, is this kind of post-World Championships depression, where you get, like, you had your very big goal for the season, then you have to kind of reload afterwards. Usually that's a very tough period. And also if you reached your goal, it's one thing then to reload and focus on another thing, the World Cup in that case.
Yeah, the post World Champs, post what could come down, it's such a thing, and especially when all the effort's gone into the forest for these World Championships, the forest only World Championships, and now suddenly you're faced with some sprint races. It's like, what is even going on?
But I mean, this situation has been quite similar for many of the runners, except for the sprint specialists. So if they have a very big advantage at one time, then it should be today, actually.
Right, here's Johnny Crickmore then in towards the finish. He's not going to take the lead, but it's going to be close towards these top 3, I think. So Johnny Crickmore into 4th place then, 12 seconds off the pace, currently the best Brit in the finish. So Teemu Oksanen from Finland still in the lead. Let's compare Mats Aitsmo and Johnny Crickmore, their last few controls.
This is a leg replay, so you see that's almost same to 16, but of course Aitsmo has to change direction out from control 16.
And then you can see the advantage, I think, as well of going that way round. And
then again.
And again that way.
Many good decisions by Crickmore.
Yeah, I think you're right. Getting some of those last route choices correct. You've got to spot. I think because he'd come into control 18 from the top, he knows that going back out in that way is a good option, I think, as well. Here's Wojciech Kral. He's won 3 World Cup sprints, and for a few years in a row, when we had that introduction of the knockout sprint, he was like winning every single one of them. Maybe not quite at those heights at the moment, but you know, he's kind of one of those sprint specialists actually who could perform really, really well. It's home soil, and that's always going to mean something for the team that is running at home, and the support that they're going to get, and the preparations that they can put in. Here's Luca Basse then. We spotted him a few times around, just maybe not always making quite the right decisions, especially around the monastery and those gardens, but he does look like he's, I was going to say he's going to be in the top 10. He's not. He's going to be just outside the top 10 into 12th place then, Luca Basse. The Frenchman is 30 seconds slower than Teemu Oksanen, the Finn, still our current leader. There he is, just still checking out the map. And probably very unfamiliar feeling then being on that leader's chair. Here's a reminder of the standings at the finish, with Teemu Oksanen in the lead currently, Mats Aitsmo into 2nd place, and the top 10, just 28 seconds between them.
Yeah, I mean, something that's very obvious if you look at the split times is that many of the runners who had good split times at control 8, so the first TV control, lost a lot of time in this section here, just around this theater. And this is Tino Pausini.
Is indeed. Climbing up from control 14 to 15. That's number 15. Did we get a time there for him?
Just
back to Timo Suta. Oh, got the wrong underpass there. And he definitely can't go through that way.
But has a good split here.
Yeah. Into 5th. There's just a whole load of walls there. It's quite hard to figure out exactly what's going on. And he's going to get stumped again there as well. I think that's the women's control.
And you could see how he didn't have time to prepare the legs at all. He was not prepared when he got to control number 8. He was not prepared of course he was not prepared after a small mistake at 8 regarding control 9. And then, you do things like this, and it costs actually a lot of time. See it here, it was quite a good start, quite similar route, or very similar route.
Yeah, we think that's the optimal route to 2.
Then the split up to 5, you see it doesn't really matter what you take. And then here you could feel that he didn't have time to control 6 to prepare 8 and 9. So quite some time lost there.
And this, I think, is where we will see really the best orienteers perform really well, because there is time to plan ahead.
But it's exactly the things that are, I mean, in order to be fast in these bits, you would really like to prepare sprint, because it's something that you want to get into this fluent kind of flow in the sprint orienteering, And you don't really get it if you're not training sprint regularly. So I think it's quite hard for many of the runners to get into this again and get used to the sprint technique and kind of the workflow you have to do in your head.
This is Wojciech Kral.
And look at this, looks much smoother compared
Well,
to Suter before.
We'll see if we can see what it looks like as he comes out of here.
I don't want to say it's much faster, but it looks much smoother. So at least it takes time in order to get ready. But he does the same mistake.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to go through there at all, but he's confident that he can. Oh, no, now, no.
Definitely, again, the commentator scores. You shouldn't give any creds to anyone.
Like, it's such a small bit of, like, line there that it's just really hard to see. I think that you can't get through there. That was Jakub Glonek into 12th.
He was actually one of the runners who had the best time, or one of the best times at control 8. I think he had the best time. But he must have lost a lot of time in this bit.
This
Quite okay to 11. Still okay to 12. Small hesitation to 13. Oh, and then all the way around to 14. That's a big time loss.
Yeah, you can
you either go straight up from 13 there, or you go to the right
via 12 again.
12, yeah.
And then you just stay around the bottom. It's a bit
Of course,
further.
if you go 13 straight up, then you have to first take the steps, which slow you down a little bit, and then you have to get down again. So you do the climbing, and you have to take the descent again.
Okay, let's see how Michaela Lednik manages to do this.
You can't get up there.
This is quite mean because there's the branding there. You almost feel like it's the way you should go.
There's branding everywhere.
There is branding everywhere. No, not yeah. There we go. And look how many seconds. He lost about 10 seconds there. Now he's in 44th. It's so close here. It's incredibly close.
Let's see if he's well prepared for this bit. Taking his time. That's good.
Yeah, it seems to work out quite well then, I think. Here's Alexei Niemi. His best world champ sprint was 18th last year in Denmark. Oh, sorry, 16th the year before in Czech Republic. In that Fort race. This area actually was a reserve area for those world champs a couple of years ago. It wasn't used in the end. But they still had the map, so they thought, let's use it. And actually this whole kind of World Cup and the races and the kind of concept behind it was meant to be a pre-WOC Euro meeting.
I mean, especially the forest disciplines.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk more about that in the forest, but the whole meet and the fact that it's here in the same part of Czechia as to the World Championships is why we've kind of got all these races, and they've used these races too. Here's Jonas Suter, so we can't tell what he did into that control, which is almost more interesting than coming out of the control.
He recovered quite well after this mistake. We had to control 9. Now he's punching the split time here at control 15. So only 5 seconds behind.
We're going back down the steps then. Maybe back out the same way he came. There's such a, when you've gone to, you know, up and down the same, like up and down, say, some steps one way, it really kind of influences other route choices, I think, as well.
Yeah, of course, because you have already seen one of the ways. It's usually a bit faster if you don't have to look at the map that carefully again. So you try to find a way where you can get an overview over the whole situation and then kind of decide from there.
And this is one of our sprint specialists we just saw in the picture, August Mullane, second at the knockout sprint at the World Championships. But back to Florian Hovald, who he wrote a blog saying about how
not prepared either. Not getting there.
There we go. I was saying he was writing a blog about his World Championships disappointment, so maybe not being selected for the races he quite wanted to be, and then his shape when he was out there. It's a really quite interesting read if you want to head towards his website. But let's see if he's prepared for this one. Yes, this is much better.
You can really, it's so hard to, I mean, this bit at just on control 8, there's so many, you have to look so closely in order to see where you can get through. So you really should slow down and take your time to read the map, but of course it's tempting in the sprint to not do that. Out from control 1, it's actually better to go the Oksanen way. Different options to 6. Here you can see that he lost a little bit of time.
But it's fairly relentless from 2 to 6, and then suddenly you're in the castle, and yeah, if you're going full pelt, you just can't see all the lines. Okay, here's Wojtek Kral to TV split number 2. This is control number 15.
It's quite far behind at control 8, and then he did the mistake to control 9.
So he was in 53rd.
Yeah, now he's in...
Yeah, minute down on the lead of Oksanen. So the mistakes costing really valuable seconds here. Those are the standings though at split number 2. Current leader, Timo Oksanen at the finish, still in the lead there. We've seen Ruslan Glibov make mistakes. Timo Suter not back at the finish yet, so maybe he's the next one to spot for taking a top time towards the finish. And otherwise, quite a lot of Czech runners in there, a few Estonians as well.
I mean, interesting on 7th spot, Jakub Chalupski, very young youngster for Czech Republic.
Yeah, but got fantastic results at Junior World Championships level, so those who follow the junior scene will not be surprised to see his name up there. But Timo Oksanen's just, it feels like he's looking at the map every single time. He's just kind of studying it and studying it. We know that the sprint relay goes from the same arena. Maybe he's trying to like really get into the map and report back as much information as he can for the sprint relay. That's all I can think. But teams will have kind of prepared their own maps. I was talking to Charlotte Ward from the British team, who was really satisfied with the map that the Brits prepared. She said she picked up, she is injured, is not running the women's race, picked up the map and thought, oh, this is exactly how we thought it would be. So, you know, she really feels like the preparations for that team were really, really good. And I guess a lot of the other teams will feel the same way, I think, depending on how much preparation they've put in. Here's Alexei Niemi, and this is pretty good through here. Good speed, no hesitations. Wasn't surprised, it looks like, by any of the things there. Let's have a look comparison then to our current leader.
I mean, we didn't see him into control 8, so we don't really know if he did the mistake there. He was half a minute behind, so something must have happened. But here's Timo Suter on the way to the finish.
Yeah, Timo Suter, oh, he's not going to be the new leader. It's only going to be a couple of seconds out, though. He's into second place and matching the speed of Oksanen through the last part.
And definitely the struggles at just after control 8 that cost him the lead here.
Yeah, definitely, because that was really, really spot on there. Let's go back to, let's have a look then at the final part of Suter's race. And just tracking Oksanen, I think, in the times.
See, it's almost 4 or 5 seconds he's behind here, but he has in the finish. Different route choices, slightly different route choices to 18. Doesn't really matter. You can see that they must have had almost exactly the same speed on the same
both
route
of them
choices.
Making a good route choice there.
All the way.
Yeah. That's really how you want to do it, I think. All of those route choices at the end, I think, explains why those two men are at the top. Here's Daniel Hubman, fresh from taking that World Champs relay gold medal, making him the oldest ever world champion at the age of 40. A target I know he had, and he has been such an all-rounder throughout his career, with sprint world titles to his name as well, European sprint titles. He's very, very solid. I wouldn't say he's got quite the speed to match with the young guys at the moment, but he is certainly really, really technically strong, and maybe that's what you need today. Here's Joey Hadorn as well. We know he's a fast runner, but of course so much of his training has been for those uphill sections of the World Championships, and of course he was able to put together some fantastic performances on home soil for him. So I think for a lot of the likes of Daniel Hubman, the likes of Joey Hadorn, coming now to do a sprint might be a little bit of a shock to the system. I think this is Ricardo Rankin, I think.
Yeah, it is. Doing another mistake, the Hovald mistake.
Yeah, indeed. Always very, very kind of recognisable in his backwards baseball cap.
It was almost as if he was just speculating. He realised it so quick and just took the other choice there. No hesitation, but very, very quickly.
The same time as Hovald as well, though.
But Hovald lost more time in this section.
Yeah, you're right. And he seems to be prepared for this route choice as well. Okay, into the finish, Wojtek Kral. It won't be today for the Czech athlete. He is not going to be the best Czech out there, and a whole minute down puts you 46th. Goodness me.
Před Jonášem Hubáčkem, takže opravdu čeští reprezentanti se pěkně porovnali blízko se.
Back then to the monastery, to the steps and the second TV control.
This is Hubman, Martin Hubman.
Martin Hubman.
Lost time here, I think, yes.
Oof.
He was 28 seconds behind at control 8, lost another 20 seconds almost.
So out of this monastery, maybe back out the way it came. Where did that time loss come then? Just kind of seems to be gradual throughout the controls, but a bit of an extra one between 10
I mean,
and
it is
14.
in this second, in this loop here somewhere.
I wonder if we'll see some GPS to be able to just check exactly where that came. Okay, back into the TV1. This is Adrien Delaine. He has taken a top 20 at World Championships level before at the sprint, but probably not amongst our favourites. And you can see already outside the top 50. Oh, nope. Okay, not quite. Alexei Niemi then next. Oh, and he's going to make the top 10, I think, here.
Yeah, but it's just, I mean, from here we know that Oksan did any mistake. Timo Suter was 5 seconds behind here and didn't catch anything to the finish. So it's hard to catch time from here to the finish. I think if you want to win back time, you have to do it in this part here between control 10 and 15.
Okay, back at the start for another Frenchman. This is Le Captain. He made the final of the knockout sprint at the World Champs in 2022 in Denmark last year. So we know he's got some speed there. But of course, the individual sprint, very, very much a different challenge. But made a very strong start. Easy first control, but that sets up a tough route choice to number 2. Back here is Daniel Hubman for the TV control number 1.
How well prepared is he? That's the Swiss mistake there. I mean, if you lift your head there, you can see that there's no way that it could continue up there.
No.
But it's hard to I mean, you have to read the map, so it's kind of you block your sight with the map just in front of your face.
But Daniel Hubman already 42 seconds down, and that's not just all in that mistake. So
no, definitely not.
I wonder where that came. Maybe in the route choice to control number 2, potentially.
So have...
He's such a technically strong runner. Here, let's have a look. Let's have a comparison.
Yeah, it's on the route to control 2 already. Not the best route. It's slightly longer to go there. And now to the finish, I think we have Florian Hovald.
It is Florian Hovald. He's not going to be in the top 6, but it looks like a top 10, I think, here. Florian Hovald going into, what was that, about 7th? or 8th place. Just waiting for his... No, his time's not coming up.
Just to read it out, I guess.
Yeah, I think so, before we can see that. But I guess, again, like a strong end to that course for Florian, I think.
And this is the second part. It's where you can win back time between 10 and 15.
Here's Joey Haddon.
So let's see how well prepared he is. Will he go up the Swiss trap? Yes, indeed. All the Swiss we have seen so far. So maybe in their map they prepared. This option didn't exist.
Oh.
I mean, this one doesn't cost too much if you continue to run it like this. But quite far behind here.
Yeah, I wonder then, there must be something to do with the team preparation, because the teams are all making similar mistakes, I think.
I mean, the Swiss team is doing the same mistake.
But I think maybe a bit unfairly. We've seen
this is Jonathan Gustafsson. It would be interesting to follow him, because he's
still going to control number 7. It's just outside here.
So now we follow him. So this could... He has another 20 seconds. No, just 5 seconds. So let's see now. And no, and no. And back.
It takes a little bit longer to figure it out, I think. Oh, no, he still hasn't quite got it. It's literally what I did pretty much when I got into that control. But still into 17th position, so I think the section up to there is much stronger though.
And it's compared to Glonek, so it's still time you can win back later on the course on this second loop, but then you have to, I mean, you're not allowed to do any more mistakes. You can see. It's
like these route choices.
Oh, look at Haddon.
Yeah.
Control 12. Oh, that's not good at all. It's a mistake there.
See, that's what I'm surprised by. It's not necessarily through the castle, the mistakes. It's the fact that the likes of Haddon and Hubman are so far down already. They're like 30 seconds down before
you don't have any time to prepare the route choice, so it makes it very hard to decide. And you start to run into one direction where you think you can get through, but you kind of... I guess that he kind of forgot to plan the whole leg from the beginning to the end and has an idea, okay, I get through there, but he doesn't really know in detail where to get.
So Alexei Niemi, not going to be as quick as his teammate, but looks like it's been a pretty decent run then here.
Really good job, Alexei. And he's number 6.
So equal 6th then with Max Petter-Bämer, who's back in the Swedish team after some injuries this year. Loic Capper, and then this is the Frenchman again through into the castle area.
We see, is he prepared? No. Have you seen anyone going to the right
some
straight?
of the early runners were doing a decent job. It just takes those extra seconds there to check that route back out. Investing that time, and let's see if he gets it right. Oh, well, we won't see if he gets it right because we're going to go back to Hubman here. This is control number 14.
You can see the bridges up there. It's where, if you come from the other level, you can see it. You can come into this area from the left there.
And actually, has he caught time on the leaders in that last section? I think he was about 42 seconds down.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and now he's back up. Here's Joey. Oh, there was Joey Haddon making a mistake. I just wanted to see what was going on there. Because
it was 25 seconds behind Oksanen at the first TV control.
Oh, this is a route choice.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
That's Daniel Hubman in the blue.
Yeah, two of the Hubman brothers. That's not the best way to go to 11 if you go to the south there. Then you can see.
Again, yeah, Rankanen, I think, making a mistake there. Gustav Bergman, though, here at the start. Silver medalist from last year's Sprint World Championships. but someone who will have been preparing so much, just giving so much time into his preparations for the Forest World Championships. Here is Joe Hadorn, and he goes underneath then towards control number 14, I think.
Gustafsson. Here's actually the chance to have a really good time at control 15 now.
Not if he does that, he won't.
He was ahead of Oksanen at control 10.
But now he's going to go back via control 11, and that's
hesitate.
not good. That is too slow, I think. This is Hadorn then into 15, but I think he has a bit of hesitations into 14.
And you can see the gap already, 50 seconds.
And I think Gustafsson is going to drop time because of that. Here's Ricardo Rancan, who actually we saw doing pretty well in the middle bit. No, maybe making a slight route choice error to 14. So he is going to be coming in now. And promising start, but not going to be for the Swiss runner today. And the Swiss runners really maybe having a bit of a walk hangover, even for the likes of Ricardo Rancan, but maybe not as well prepared for the challenges there. Here's Jonas Gustafsson.
Dropped down into third. He was actually ahead of Oksanen, as I said before, at control 10, so he lost time compared to him. He was 6 seconds ahead, now is 3 seconds behind.
But he's such a strong runner. If he executes the end bit well, then he can make up 3 seconds, definitely. Right?
But still, we haven't seen that kind of even close to perfect race.
No. No, that's true. Maybe for some of the later starters. Here's the last of the Czechs, Thomas Krivda, who took a very exciting 4th place at the long distance of the World Championships in Switzerland.
Let's see now, that's going to be interesting. Is he well prepared for control 8? He's reading the map carefully.
You can see he's trying to take any seconds he can to read that.
Yes,
he is. And this is a pretty good start here.
That's a very good start.
Very good start.
We don't have to compare them to Glonek. We don't have to compare him to Eidsmo.
Or Arneson either. So yeah, quicker than those later runners and those who are doing well at TV split number 2.
And you could see really how carefully he was reading the map all the way.
You can see him like pick up some time, pick up some speed going through the castle, and now just taking another kind of check. You can actually, if you look left, you can...
No, he wasn't prepared. He should have gone to the right and down below the bridge. I think he was heading to the left, as much as I could see.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let's check. So this is with our current comparison with the current leader, Oksanen.
Similar routes here.
Good choice from both of them.
Very similar. So here, no differences. Yeah.
Interesting. Good, strong running there. Thomas Krivda here.
Let's see now into this area.
Oh, wow, he's had a quick start.
Yeah, but he does the mistake.
He does do the mistake.
It's kind of fun that the cameraman always is following up the stairs.
But that's still going to be...
still fast.
That's still fast. He's had a flying start then. To be making that mistake and to still be pretty much equal in the lead. Daniel Hubman into the finish. It will be 17th in the end. I think a strong last part of the race again from him, but too many mistakes. I think some route choice errors actually on some of the longer legs for Daniel Hubman. And Teemu Oksanen still on the leader's chair.
And soon we are going to get more answers regarding the question if it is an advantage, this first sprint competition for the sprint specialist, because very soon I think we will going to have Jonathan Gustafsson to the finish and also Yannick Michels to this first TV control. It will be very interesting to follow.
Yeah, it really, really will. Both of them sprint specialists. They've had more kind of time to invest in not just in the training, in the map geeking as well. Here's Ralph Street.
Talking about sprint specialists who don't want to be a sprint specialist at all.
No, Ralph Street likes to deny that he's a sprint specialist, but here's someone who definitely is. This is Yannick Michels.
Good start. If he gets to the right here. Yes, look at that. Very good. He was very well prepared there. No hesitation at all. Maybe the fastest entrance to this area we have seen so far.
This is Havard Stansted Eidsmo, I think. It is indeed. He was 4th at the World Championships. So Michels 2 seconds down. That's a very, very good start for the Belgian. Very, very popular runner. Took a bronze medal at the World Championships last year. Got 3 World Cup wins to his name. And definitely a sprint specialist.
in the list there now, did we?
No.
Maybe his time did stop. Oh, that's not right. We shouldn't be in a building in a sprint competition.
Well, no, sometimes they have passages underneath, but there's literally no passages there.
I think it's an area where they weren't sure if they will open it or not. So maybe they prepared it to be open. Here is Jonathan Gustafsson.
Yeah, what can Jonathan Gustafsson do? Is he going to take the new lead?
Oh, it's going to be very, very tight.
It is going to be tight, but he's such a quick runner. Let's count the seconds down.
He was 3 seconds behind at the TV control.
Oh, what's it going to be then as the Swede rounds the corner? Is he going to take the new lead here at this World Cup in Czechia? The line is coming and he might just have done it. He's equal in the lead. So Gustafsson and Oksanen are going to share that leader's chair. It is so tight. Here is Ralph Street. He's not prepared for this one either.
But good. I mean, it wasn't the perfect race for Gustafsson either. As I said, we haven't seen the perfect race yet. Had some struggles in the beginning or in this middle section, but made a good finish.
And here is Gustav Bergman. This is coming out of control number 14 up to 15. Let's see if he's managed to have a good kind of series of routes through this section. He's caught up Eidsmo, who we saw go through the building, and Gustav Bergman goes quickest. This is a significant gap then, I think, here in this relay. A whole 8 seconds. I can't believe I'm saying that's significant, but when it's so close like this, that is a decent gap then for Gustav Bergman. And how hard is it when you know you've kind of gone up the wrong little part in the castle, you've got to turn back. Is that easy to kind of come back from?
I mean, that it's at max 5 to 10 seconds you lost. You see that it's a tricky course. I think it's okay. Of course, it's kind of something you think about in a few seconds, but you have to get over it and just continue. And I mean, that's something that happens in many sprint races, so I think it's not a very unusual situation to handle.
And I think Gustav Bergman takes the perfect route choices through that section in the gardens, in the monastery. Here is Kasper Fosser then, the current sprint world champion. The Norwegian, who took again a long distance title in Switzerland just a few weeks ago. He's really got a lot of that training in his legs, but not quite the performances in the middle and the relay. And I think always when Kasper Fosser starts, there's a bit of a question about his fitness, about injuries, but you know he's going to give it his all. Here's Thomas Grivda. And it's pretty good here for the Czech runner. Not as quick as Bergman, but still into third place. Equal with Gustafsson, who is our current leader at the finish.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Fosser. Usually you get concerned when you have a runner and he is complaining about physical, like problems physically. But in Fosser's case, it's almost the other way around. You would be concerned if he would not have anything to complain about, because every time he has something, then he's coming back stronger afterwards.
Yeah, but I do worry for his long-term career. If he keeps having injuries and, will he have a career as long as Daniel Hubman's? Well, not very many people do, but, But anyway, let's focus on Yannick Michels. One of the favourites. He had a great start. towards TV control number 1, and he looks like this is exactly the right route.
Already you can see
he looks up. That's always a good sign, in my opinion.
It shows you that he has time, that he already planned the next leg. He has time to do so. I think it's going to be a good chance for a good split here.
And he's one of those athletes, I think, like Chris Jones would remind me of the same, how he just makes the running look super easy. He doesn't look fatigued at all. He just looks super calm,
and I can tell
super in control, and that's pretty impressive.
He had the fastest time here. You can see it here in the graphics, 4 seconds ahead of Gustav Bergman.
Very strong here. Comparisons then between the first and the second TV controls. There's different route choices into control number 10. Fairly equal, I would guess. Mikkel's looking strong. He'll really be able to open up on that long leg. And it just looked really, really well prepared. Oksanen actually there, not, I think, the best route choice to 14, maybe allowing the others to go ahead. Interesting stuff.
And soon to 10 to control 15 as well. Rolf Street had a good split at control 10, but let's get back to Matthias Kiburtz.
Yeah, he's the last starter today.
Very interesting to see if he's able to switch back from the forest, but also after such a successful World Championships, how ready are you mentally to get back and focus on sprint?
Yeah,
mistake by Fosser.
You can see he looks back the other way. He kind of knows where it's going to be. Oh, but he is dropping down actually. So Kasper Fosser 15 seconds behind. And so very soon we'll see Matthias Kiburtz through this point. Kasper Fosser, the second to last starter. Let's see how prepared he is for this bit. He makes it look very easy going through here. And he should go right and down and underneath this kind of drawbridge, under the bridge here. No, he looks like he may be going to go left. Gustav Bergman then into the finish. Could this be the new lead? It looks good for a new lead here for the Swede. Gustav Bergman into the finish. And he's had a smashing race here and actually pulled up again another 10 seconds just on this last part of the race. So Gustav Bergman into the lead and just looked very smooth, I think, through all of those TV controls.
But meanwhile, I can also tell you that we had Rolf Street at the second TV control, and he was fastest, 8 seconds faster than Gustav Bergman, who is just taking the lead in the finish. So it's going to be very interesting the coming minutes. Let's see here.
Yeah, let's replay these last loops.
Control 16.
He was really strong on this bit.
Good route to 17, good route to 18.
Yeah, where Gustafsson, didn't get the right route choice into 18. You've got to come around the top. Here's Matthias Kiburtz.
Into the Swiss trap.
Yes. Not right there. So few people have got that right. So few. And again, slightly not quite ready for this one. Just taking an extra few seconds, that's like extra 1 second to just check that route out. And he's 19 seconds behind. So that's also a couple of seconds slower than Kasper Fosser, who we last saw through there. And you can just say he's not quite as prepared as the Norwegian for this section here. Here is, I think this is Krivda in towards the finish then. Krivda, he was so fast at the start actually that I wondered if he'd be able to do something as well here in these latter stages. It's not, I think, good enough for the lead, but could be good enough for second place then. Thomas Krivda, the Czech athlete, was 4th in the World Championships a few weeks ago, and this looks like another good performance. He's just gritting his teeth and pushing all the way to the line. He's going to go into second place then, 13 seconds slower than Gustav Bergman. And pretty strong running then from Thomas Krivda. He shakes his head though, maybe he's not quite as satisfied with that one. He knows there's more he could give. Here is someone we haven't seen much of at all. Tim Robertson. Speaking of sprint specialists, Tim Robertson from New Zealand. He's got a bronze and silver medals from World Championships, but he's not got a World Cup victory at a sprint. It feels like there's, it's been coming and it's been coming, but let's see what the actual time is. when he reaches control 15.
He was behind at the first TV control, 21 seconds behind the leader, 19 at control 10, so he might be between 10 and 20 seconds behind here as well. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, not too far behind. You could see the comparison to Street.
Let's take Yannick Michels, though, into the finish. Could this be a new leading time? It's going to be close, I think, here with that time of Gustav Bergman. So Yannick Michels from Belgium all the way to the line. I think it's going to be equal.
Nope.
It's 1 second slower. Yannick Michels, 1 second slower, and I think he hears that. Oh, that's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough one to take. 1 second.
I think we can stay here somewhere in the finish area, because I think one of the next runners to the finish should be Ralph Street. It's going to be interesting to see if he can kind of defend the lead he had at the second TV control. First comparison here between Bergman, Michels, Krifta.
Going the same way, all going the same way. This is looks like the quickest way.
But Ralph Street very soon to the finish, and it looks actually really good for Ralph. 10 seconds ahead at the pre-warning, and only a few. The pre-warning is at 21, I think. Here he comes.
Here he is, Ralph Street into the finish. The pre-warning was good.
Definitely a sprint specialist.
He is definitely a sprint specialist. Goodness me, Ralph Street is absolutely powering it home here. He's prepared super well, come back from those World Championships. And what can Ralph Street do here? This is looking fantastic for a new leading time, and by a margin as well. Ralph Street into the lead, 14 seconds quicker.
And I mean, if we look at the list here, I don't know, there is still Kibbutz out there who's 13 seconds behind at control 10. Rekborn 16 seconds behind at control 10. Robertson 15 seconds behind, but otherwise,
well, let's see what Foster is doing. And Foster is down. He is 47 seconds down. So Casper Foster is not going to be able to do anything here. I think we wait then for Kibbutz, because we've seen pretty much everybody else through.
Rekborn,
how?
Robertson 18 seconds behind. That's too much, I guess. Could very well be the first World Cup victory for Ralph Street, but of course we have to wait a little bit. But I see the excitement in your eyes, Katherine.
I've got to try and be impartial here, but I am British, so it's going to be tough to stay impartial here. Am I allowed to celebrate if he takes it? There's still a few runners left though, and we're still yet to see Matthias Kibbutz at control 15.
So very soon Kibbutz should be there.
This is 14.
Still has to go a few meters. I think he's behind.
But he's really in touch with the map here. Maybe checking the long route then from 15 to 16, which is another crucial one.
Too far behind. I don't think he will make it. 21 seconds behind. This is Rekborn. Martin Rekborn to the finish. He's 14 seconds behind at the pre-warning. You can see the time has been running out already.
But is it good enough for a medal though? I think it's going to be just too close. Is it going to be equal with Michels? So equal third at the moment for Martin Rekborn.
So let's wait for Robertson and let's wait for Kibbutz. Actually, Robertson has a better 3 seconds ahead of Kibbutz, so a bigger threat. If we look at Ralph Street, see the comparison. Rekborn with another route choice to control 18.
Yeah, losing time there, I think.
So soon we should have Robertson at the pre-warning. Very soon, actually. It should be there already.
Yeah, we've got the pre-warning, but let's see. Oh no, I was going to see if we can see Kibbutz. Have we already seen Kibbutz through?
Yeah, we have seen Kibbutz through.
Sorry, I'm need to keep on track. Well, they're at the standings though at control number 2, control 15.
We are very soon going to see Robertson to the finish because he has punched the second last control.
Here he is, looking for him here. Here's the Kiwi.
But he's late. You can see time's running out right there.
Yeah, and I think it's too late for a medal now as well here, because he's still yet to come to the last control itself, and the seconds are dropping. So I think Tim Robertson is going to be outside of a medal position here. He is indeed dropping down, maybe dropping a few seconds to later on. I wonder if that was with some of the route choices right at the end. But Tim Robertson going to go into equal fifth then, equal fifth with Krivda. It's a podium at the moment with only 2 runners left to come. Kasper Fosse, who we saw was about 45 seconds down at TV2.
Definitely not be a threat for Ralph Street. The only one, if he finds any extra gear here, could be Matthias Kiburtz.
Let's see what happened with Foster though.
I tried to get to control 14 there.
No, this is him going to 12.
Oh yeah, right. That's not a good route choice. You can go almost straight there. So it's kind of and then another mistake to 14. It's a very slow option.
Yeah, so that explains why he was 45 seconds down at control number 15.
But we are waiting for Kiburtz to get to the pre-warning. Still has some 30 seconds left. And if he's late, then it's going to be the first World Cup victory. This is Fosse.
Yep, this is Kasper Fosse, the Norwegian sprint world champion, and he'll probably know it's not been the best one today, and he will be outside of the top 10, I think, here.
You also know that Kiburtz started 1 minute behind, so Kiburtz has to be here in 15 seconds if he wants to beat Ralph Street, and I don't think it's going to happen.
He's 90 seconds behind.
Oh, 90 seconds, yeah. That's true, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 90-second gap, but Fosse, outside the top 15 there. Disappointment maybe for the Norwegian, just not quite getting those really, really tricky bits right. And we wait then for Matthias Kiburtz, the last starter.
It's not going to be enough.
No, been waiting for the middle and relay world champion. Picked up 3 medals at the home world championships. Here he is though, here's Matthias Kiburtz. Let's have a look, what is it going to be?
Maybe a top 6, but he definitely not beat Street, as you can see. So the first ever World Cup victory for Ralph Street.
Yes, let's keep an eye on to see if, he's going to be outside the medals, so we can award the silver medal to Gustav Bergman, the bronze to Mikkels, and I think Reg, not sure where Regborn went in our results, but Matthias Kiburtz into 4th place. So there we go. We know Regborn, we saw he was due to be, we saw when he finished he was joint with Mikkels. We actually found he's been disqualified for a wrong control number 1. So if I wonder if he went to the women's, in fact, let's see this, because he's due to go a little bit further to the right.
You can see
that is the women's control there. And that's lost him, made him lose a medal then.
It's very obvious when you enter this area that you should head to the right and not to the left. So it's kind of a, I don't know, a stress situation he didn't handle very good. You can see there's the entrance, and of course he has to turn quite hard to the right, but he is going to the left. So, well, no discussion about that.
Yeah, absolutely clear. And there's actually the men's and women's courses, you'll see they have a lot of controls close together, but they set up really different route choices actually, so it could be quite interesting, I think, to see that.
But
let's
summarize this. I mean, Ralph Street, if you look at the split times, he's the only one who got through the whole course without any bigger problems. Of course, we have seen him doing this mistake here to control 8, but then, as you said, it's about 5 to 10 seconds. Otherwise, he got through very well through the course. He was always within 6 seconds of the lead at any of the TV controls or radio splits. And well, in the end, is 14 seconds ahead. So a very big margin if we look at sprint races.
And if you look at the number of teams there, the number of different nations that's on that, we've got Sweden, we've got Belgium, we've got New Zealand, we've got Czech.
Great Britain.
We've got Great Britain. I'm trying not to be too smug here. And let's have a look at then in a bit more detail about how it was won.
I think actually that they had both Street and Michels had a better route to Control 2. It was the shortest one, at least distance-wise.
No, I just think that's Michels' GPS going slightly off there.
It's very hard with the GPS in this. I also think like who is in the lead exactly here is very hard to say from the GPS. Everything very similar here. Then at this point at Control 8, maybe the only mistake Street did. Not a very big mistake though. You can see they all went to left. You would have had the chance just after the bridge to Control 9, turn right and under the bridge to the Control. You can see that he split up on 3 different routes. A Street with the shortest, or with the maybe not the shortest one, but you don't have to climb.
I think the shortest one was Michels, but yeah, you don't have to climb up the steps.
Or you don't have to climb the steps at least. So I think it's a good route. Then here, good to Control 12, good to 13. That's okay to 14 as well. He was actually very good compared to the others. And then here he had a lead of about 8 seconds compared to the others.
And everybody here with this same route choice. Maybe Street avoiding the steps there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, really everybody getting these correct route choices in this last bit. Oh, actually,
here,
Ralph going the other way.
Yeah, and I think
That's
it's where he did kind of a difference, because he was 8 seconds ahead at the Control before, and in the finish it's 15. So at some place he had to get ahead of them.
Yeah, well, let's hear from him then, I think. Let's hear from Ralph Street.
Yeah, Ralph Street, congratulations on your win. World Cup winner for the first time ever. How does that feel?
It feels amazing, yeah, great.
And tell us about your race.
Pretty good, I think, obviously. No real problems, did the kind of choices that I expected, so yeah, bosh, really happy.
There seemed to be a lot of short, tricky legs where you really had to like focus. How well did you execute them, you think?
Pretty good. One bit of trouble in the castle, but no problems in the garden, so yeah, really happy.
And the biggest result of your career, I'd say, how do you explain that?
Yeah, maybe I'm quite good at sprint, so yeah, we'll see.
And how has it been going from the World Champs in Switzerland, forest focus for just a few weeks ago, and then to focusing on sprint here at the World Cup in Czechia?
Well, I don't normally do a lot of sprint training, so it's probably no problem to have been in the forest quite a bit, but obviously maybe it's something I should do in the future, yeah.
And then tomorrow there's a sprint relay here in Česká Lípa. What do you think about the British chances?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a good team, but there's a lot of other good teams, so it'll be a close battle, and obviously we ran really well last year, so we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. There's a railway line on this map as well, so we'll see.
We'll see. Thank you and congratulations again.
Cheers, thank you.
There with his customary modestness, I think, there.
We were talking about the return of the sprint specialist to the discipline. And
so I think we should explain the joke into this one, is that Ralph Street has done well in other sprints at World Cups before with top 3 results, but he
desperately tries to get rid of this kind of image he has as a sprint specialist.
He really sees himself as an all-rounder, but he's always had his best results in the sprint, and he likes to put on his social media afterwards that he's not a sprint specialist. He does do all of the disciplines.
I mean, the results, they're talking their own language.
I mean, yeah, exactly. So Ralph Street proving himself wrong, that he is in fact a sprint specialist, taking the win here today ahead of Gustav Bergman of Sweden and Yannick Michels of Belgium into the third. Matthias Kibberts, Thomas Krivda, Tim Robertson from New Zealand, rounding off those top 6, again with the top 10 within 41 seconds as well. And we can look now into the top 20. Maybe Eduardo Gilmarcos will be very happy with the top 20 there as well. Matteo De Bertollis from Italy, of course, 2 more Brits, Johnny Crickmore and Chris Smithard into that top 20 as well. Great to see loads of different nations. It should make it quite interesting, I think, for the sprint relay particularly as well, especially when we've got loads and loads of teams out there. But this is how we'll keep looking down the results list before we switch across to the women's race. And again, very similar challenges for the women's competition, but it won't, just because of the slight differences in where the controls have been placed. The course has a similar shape, but the best route choices are often different to the men's class, which we will talk through in full as we see the course, as we see the analysis there too as well. 3.6 kilometres for the women, and again, an estimated winning time of 15 minutes. And again, they will head into this old town with the biggest squares, some alleyways, and again, back to the castle, back to the monastery and the gardens as well. This is the challenge.
I mean, the first control we have already seen when we saw Martin Rekborn punching it just before, so it's a different first control. And it's also a different second control. I mean, it's the same idea behind the route choice, but because it's a different first and different second control, just slightly different, the route choice, the fastest route is different as well. We're going to get back to this. Another control to control 3, that was the second control in the men's course. Then we get to back to this castle. Not exactly the same controls, you can see it. Control 6 differently, then 7 is the one we have seen many of the runners struggling with in the men's race. 8, 9. Exactly the same route as in the men's course. Then a shorter loop at control 10, 11, 12, 13. It's basically there where we have the difference in distance between the courses. 13, 14 also this different route compared to the men's. And then a similar idea to 15, but not quite the same again. So also there we'll have a different route which will be fastest. And then 16, 17, 18, 19, similar to the men's course. So that's the course. The idea behind the course is the same. The strategy by the course planners is to give them many short controls before the long leg, so you don't have any time to prepare. Also, a few short controls just before the trickiest part, like at around control 7 in the women's course in the castle, in order to not let them prepare this just area before the control. You see here different shortest route to the control.
Yeah, so here you want to go north of the line on that light blue.
Actually, the orange one was quite short as well. You can see it back here.
Yeah, this kind of schoolyard, and then turning up, and you've got to spot the little gaps through the buildings. As you can see, that a lot of the main roads, it's almost like there's artificial barriers on them because you can only cross them at certain points. That's really going to affect the route choices as well.
That's control 5 to 6. You can see the different options here. We haven't seen control 6 before. Well, we have seen it in the picture, but we haven't seen them punching there.
Again, it's the light blue one that's the quickest, or the shortest anyway. And yeah, this control wasn't on the men's course. So you've got all of this kind of run out, kind of all the way down here to try and prepare these 3 controls in the castle, and maybe that just gives you a little bit extra time to prepare those.
I mean, one advantage if you take the blue one here is that you already can take a look at control number 8 later on, so you have an idea on where to exit control 7, how to get to control 8, which can be an advantage later on in the competition. Then here 14, 15 in this case here. Actually, the red one is the fastest. Before in the men's race, where we had it just a bit differently at control 14, there was another option, the blue one, actually the fastest. so interesting that they split them up. It's like a forking within this competition, because of course we have them going at the same time, so they see each other at control. So it's a good thing that they have differently when they get to the controls. You can see the control up there. Control 15.
But here is the start list then. And we've been starting all afternoon already for about 3 hours or so.
And what you can see is we have some interesting early starters. For example, 217 there, Natalia Gempele, who's actually still in the lead now with a margin of 18 seconds. Ahead of Denisa Kosova.
I'm not really sure why she's gone so early. Maybe it's because of transferring from Russia to Switzerland.
It has to be something with world ranking points you have to collect over years, and she was totally out of kind of competition last year, so she might not have enough points there. But I'm not 100% sure. That's just me speculating.
And we don't think she was wearing a tracker either, so we have not got any clue as to exactly where she went.
Well, she must have done a mistake in the beginning because she's 20 seconds behind at control 5, so before she enters the castle. So there is definitely the option or the potential for other runners to be faster than Natalia Gempele.
So who are we looking for then? Who could be the ones to go quicker?
Are you seriously asking that question?
Yeah, I'm asking the question. Well, we know it's the same answer as always, but of course I've got to ask the question.
I mean, we have, as we had in the men's race, we have 2 runners we always have to have on the list, and it's Tove Alexandersson and Simona Abersold starting at the very end. Sara Hagström, I mean, now we get here on the list the kind of interesting names. Sara Hagström, one of it. Caroline Olsson, Hanna Lundberg. I mean, basically almost everyone here from this last page, but also, I mean, a name I'm kind of looking forward to see perform today as well is Sandra Grossberger. It seems that she had a great season in relays, then she had a good race in the middle distance at the World Championships as well. She's slightly getting more closer and closer towards the top, so definitely an interesting name as well.
Oh, for sure. That is Natalia Gempele finishing so early on this afternoon. She's spent a long old time in that leader's chair, just kind of waiting there. Of course, we've got to say there's 2 of the medalists from the World Championships not here. Alice Leek, who announced her retirement a few months ago.
You were talking about the World Championships last year.
The Sprint World Championships. So bronze medalist Alice Leek has announced her retirement, and the Sprint World Champion Megan Carter-Davis has decided that she wasn't going to go up for selection for this event. She kind of wanted a little bit of a break after the World Championships, and I think really wants to feel very prepared heading into any kind of World Cup race, especially a sprint one where she's now the world champion, that it just wasn't something that she wanted to do for this one. So she's definitely going to be heading all of her preparations though towards those European Championships in Italy later on after the summer. But Paula Gross, this is her starting then here. And you see she's going to head to a different control. And for the women, it's quite a good option to go. Oh, she's going to go straight back out here, then you've got to find a little gap. Yep, she finds the little gap here, just through, through the fence. Okay, let's catch up with the controls around the castle. Here's a pole, Hanna Wisniewska.
You can see a big time loss here in the beginning, 1.5 minutes behind.
Yeah, that's really a surprise, because the pole has been pretty good this season.
As you can see, it started to rain as well, makes it very much more slippery compared to the beginning of the men's race.
Yeah, all these
Marie Olausen,
cobblestones.
actually more interesting into 12th position, 10th position here.
Yeah, we can follow her down. And actually, to have that, it's very unexpected to catch up somebody starting a minute in front of you. Or even, in fact, I think a minute and a half in front of you. But let's round up then.
Olausen, did you have the right? Yeah, it must have. Yeah, must have been just the GPS off.
So we'll take Denisa Kosova as kind of the base time because Natalia Gempeler wasn't tracked. Denisa Kosova is currently in second. That's why we're having that comparison with her light blue tracking.
You can also see Sandra Grossberg in the picture, the comparison. You can see that now the women were actually taking that route there to the right under the bridge. Now we are behind Sandra Grossberger into
this is control 11. Yeah, there's a different kind of section of, there's fewer controls in this area for the women, and I think it's kind of, you're thrown into this tricky control, this 11th control, like a bit sooner than compared to the men's course, which you've got to get your head around it, I think, quicker about what's going on, and then you head down towards the 13th control. Yeah, you can't head that way, otherwise you're just going to stay above. I do think the order they have these controls is a little bit trickier for the women. Okay, let's have a replay then, comparing with a couple of the top runners, but we've just seen Sandra Grossberger go through.
That's not the best option there. Have to do a few 90 degrees angles on the way where you lose time. You can also see that they did a mistake there to control 11, didn't really understand the different levels.
Yeah, it's wall northern side for the control description for that one. Okay, Emma-Louise Arnesen in towards the finish. Norwegian, but you can see there Gempeler's time, 14:54. And Arnesen's going to be over a minute slower. You can see the gaps here, I think, a lot bigger. Maybe that's a reflection of Gempeler starting so early and the dent that she's managed to make on the field.
And she is fighting for top 15 position.
But it is into 13th then for the Norwegian. You can tell nations like Norway and Finland starting to get more sprint specialists, really introducing their younger orienteers as well to the World Cup circuit.
Olausen, second TV split.
10. And now the control is under there.
Underneath there, so you have to get down. That's exactly what the others did as well, Grossberger, for example. So you have to get to this theater to reach the lower level.
So Maria Olausen and Hanna Wisniewska both together here. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem you have to just solve. And that's the bridge you could see from, or even the far one is the one you could see on the picture when they're up on the top level.
See that she could have had quite a good time here actually if she would not have done that mistake.
And then still another tricky control to get to 13. Yeah, no, I'm not sure that's the right way. I mean, it's a way.
Not the best one,
no,
though.
No, it's not the best one. Ida Happala, 4 minutes down. Goodness me, this is Cecilia Anderson. The Brit in towards the finish. She too going to be over a minute slower than Gempeler, but into the top 20, into the top 15 even for Cecilia. After spending a long old afternoon in quarantine. Okay, here's one of the Danish runners. This is Ida Egeve Christensen. Setting off on her route straight into folding the map, just checking that. You'll very, very quickly see that there is a fairly easy control number 1, but a tricky control number 2. And you just got to also try and stay on your feet with so many of these sharp bends as well. Isia Basset, then, French athlete, in towards the finish. And she's still got one more control to go. Can again be maybe like a minute down. Such was the great performance of Gempela earlier on this afternoon.
Fighting for top 10 position. Someone around 1 minute behind Natalia Gempela.
So it's going to be about a minute behind for Isia Basset, former middle distance medalist. And it is into 11th for Basset. Let's have a comparison then with Basset and Kosovo. Kosovo still second. Kosovo already quite a long way ahead at
Yeah, she was already very far ahead at control 12 or 11.
And Kosovo again, these are all the route choices you want to see. If you're the team coach, you want to see that your athletes are making the right route choices, and this looks really, really good for her. Here's Cécile Calandry out of the start. Took a 13th place in the sprint here in the Czech Republic 2 years ago. But we go back into the gardens. This is Paula Gross. This is control number 10. And, oh, she looks much more prepared for where this control number 11 is at the bottom of these levels. Go down in this amphitheatre. There's some big steps and some smaller ones, and she looks much more well prepared. And the TV time here comes like in the middle of this technical bit rather than at the end compared to the men's.
Yeah, but her problem is that she was 40 seconds behind at control 9 already. So I think she's, well, you can see it here, she's already now 20 seconds behind with another, yeah, around 20 seconds to go.
So you can see this control where we get the time, 12th control, 34, 35 seconds behind. And now back down again to the bottom level for control number 13. Back towards the castle now.
Martina Ruch getting towards the 7th control, and as many of her teammates before, running up the stairs.
And again, if you look at the time, it's going to be close to a minute even here. You can see she's not quite prepared for the next one either. Really kind of throws you, I think, when you go up a passage, you find there's a dead end. It just things that haven't quite made sense. So our running cam just waits to see her through towards the next control. Okay, let's see the difference then. Why Martina Ruch is so far down, and that route choice.
This route choice isn't good. You have to do this 90 degrees angle again. You can see how much time she lost. You can see also that it's raining more and more.
Yeah, conditions not as favourable in Könermännen here.
Actually, 3 seconds ahead of Natalia Gempela at this point.
But we know Natalia Gempela had a really good end of the course. Okay, back towards the start to another Swiss runner here, Sabine Hausfeld. Tends to be a much better forest athlete, but really a pretty good all-rounder. You can see actually, you could see the previous athletes and next athletes up just in behind that banner. Okay, Maria Olausson in towards the finish now. Punching the second to last control.
lost a lot of time between control 12 and finish here. I mean, at control 12, she was, she was about 18 seconds behind. Now it's more than 50.
The last meters here, and it's going to be just in that top 10 spot, equal time with Sandra Grossberger, the Latvian. Tough run there for Olausson. This is, I think, Grace Malloy. It is indeed. In this section here, these monastery gardens, but she is going to be more than half a minute down on the lead. And this is not the best way to go either.
Definitely not.
You can actually continue through that way, but then we're going to pick her up the other side of those bridges, to be honest. Ingrid Lundenes. She was outside the top 20, 22nd at those Sprint World Championships last year. Becoming a more consistent member of the Norwegian team. First control is incredibly easy, but she does pretty much stop there, but that's not the right route choice. If you're going to head out that way, you really need to turn back in order to get the shortest one. This may be Cécile Coulandry. It is indeed. Into the first control inside the castle, and then you've got to go up into the castle itself.
Hesitating there, so let's see if she had time enough to prepare now. Coming task here. No, she didn't. How many steps do you think the cameraman was running up there today?
Quite a few. Quite a few unnecessary steps. And again, just taking that extra time, because it's pretty tricky again to know there's a barrier, artificial barrier in place. There's buildings with kind of passageways, archways. This is Nurminen, I think, yeah. And you can see her look to her right, I think, as well. She's heading on her way towards control number 11. You can see the how much the rain's affected these paving slabs as well. Just going to make it all slightly slippier. You've got to run with confidence to have a lot of speed here. Inka Nurminen will get her time at the next control, and then also spot her route to the 13th, which again is another tricky one. You've got to solve the puzzle, and now you've got to go back down another level.
But still quite okay here. She was 15 seconds behind. Second control. Still around 16 seconds behind.
Here's Sabine Hausritt into the castle.
Let's see. She might be the first Swiss to go to the right here. No, she isn't. Yeah, she is.
Oh, yeah. Does that count?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, she lost maybe a second. That's not a real time loss.
But Sabine Hausritt is, despite doing that bit very well, is about 30 seconds behind, 32 seconds behind. So maybe not the right route choice from controls 1 to 2. As we follow her, just nearly come to a standstill as she tries to figure out the problems there. Let's have a look at Hausritt and Kosovo. We're pretty much the same at number 5.
Well, here, don't really like that kind of route choice.
And that's put her behind.
Far distance to go.
It's amazing how that route choice and the hesitations can cost her like 30 seconds.
I mean, you could see the hesitation just after control 7 here in the GPS tracking, how much time it cost Hausritt.
This is Hedvig Valbjørn Gudesen.
Let's see here. Oh, it's actually not quite okay time if she goes to the right here, straight. Let's see now, it cost her about 4 seconds. Maybe 5 with the hesitation included.
She does have a top 20 from walk sprint on home soil in Denmark last year, but you've really you can't be doing this if you want to end up with a good result, I think.
Yeah.
But she's had a good first start. I think she must have got that route choice down the hill pretty spot on, because if you're still in 15 seconds in touch, that is you can do something with that.
I mean, she's ahead of Natalia Gempli at that point.
Okay, Yves van Dongen from the Netherlands in next. Of course, took a bronze medal at the sprint knockout. Fantastic medal for the Netherlands. She was 16th in the individual sprint though, so we know she's got a lot of speed, based in Sweden, and this is where we'd expect her best results to come, as opposed to in the forest. Let's see what she can do. All back in the cobblestones here. This is definitely a French top.
I think it's Cécile Galland.
Yes, I think it is too.
Just try to figure. It's not a good way.
I don't even know where she's
she's
gone.
Behind. She's to the
she's to the west of Control 10.
Yeah. So.
And now she's got to go all the way around.
Yeah, she might be on the way to 10 or 11. Maybe from 10 to 11, but that's like a minute time loss.
Yeah, this is a huge mistake, because
if it's true, it's so hard to say here in this part where they are heading towards, but I think she's heading towards Control 11, and then it's definitely 45 seconds. This is Ingrid Lundanes, punching into a 42nd position.
And now you have to go like you have to go the whole way around this building.
Yeah. I mean, she could have gone up in between, but then she would have needed to go down again in the theater.
But she was literally the other side of that wall, or
just
or
if you
above
continue
the wall.
here, straight ahead.
She was so close to the control, just going on the straight line, but hadn't figured out the levels. Yeah, it's so tough. I think coming from this is the first control they've got in the levels.
She's far behind.
Yeah.
See how far. I mean, she was 38 seconds behind just before, so it's more than a minute time loss.
And now she's kind of seen all of this bit, so she knows where Control 13 is, and this is a decent route to go. Okay, let's have a look. If we want to add insult to injury, we will take a look then at the GPS of exactly which way Calandry went.
Now look at Control 10. I think she backed out again.
Yeah, went north out of Control 10.
She must have done that.
And then down that little alleyway.
did actually the same. So they have to go all the way around. Hauswirth getting back again. Calandry. So let's compare the two route choices here. Yeah, I mean, you could, where Calandry is at the moment, you could head north there and go to 11 from there, or you go all the way around here.
So we're actually live with Hauswirth now, because she started the 90 seconds after.
There she is.
That is, not fun to know that you completely messed that one up. It's a big time loss there. It's hard to do anything to come back from it. You've got to fight all the way around the last stages as well. Hedvig Valbrun Gudesen, therefore, has nearly caught up Sabine Hauswirth with that, evidently executing this part well, or maybe seeing the way that Hauswirth was going. It's an advantage of catching up, but this is not the right way.
No.
No, not at all. You've got to climb up the top.
She's not getting up there. Don't know. She didn't really. She must have misunderstood the thing, how to get up there. So now she has to go all the way around, losing.
Well, you should turn back there. Absolutely, you should turn back there.
But she's gonna lose about. Well, you don't get in here either. That's not your control. No, it isn't.
It is. It's the 13th control, but she's missed out 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's missed out the 12th control.
Yeah, but I think it's still...
Is she going to go back and punch it? Oh,
yeah, she's going to go back. She noticed.
I'm not sure. Eve van Dongen, though,
I'm quite sure.
made the Swiss trap, and she is already going to be just under a minute down. Then the knockout sprint medalist.
But what we can say in between is that Malin Agrevik Christiansen at this first TV control punched in third position 10 seconds behind, so a good start for her.
Well, here's Ida Agrevik Christiansen, and it's going to be third place. That's pretty solid stuff then from Ida Agrevik Christiansen. Good result for her. We know the Danish team of last year for those world champs was a very young one. They've been kind of developing a new crop of juniors for the last few years. And Natalia Gempela with her daughter, I think her daughter's called Luna, still on that leader's chair. Marika Taney, though, if we head back towards the start, Marika Taney, a really middle distance specialist, I think was ill though and had to drop out halfway through the World Champs course.
And I mean, we can also say that Hedvig Valbjørn Gudesen, she punched control 12, so no worries there. She punched the TV control. Good to have the TV control at that place.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's Anna Dukorn, the Norwegian, and in 30 seconds down. Here's Ingrid Lundenes, control 12. That is not
there's
the
still a
best
chance
way.
to go the right way.
There is.
But now you have to go down. Or you go all the way around.
Or you can go at the top and go, yeah, you can go down the other stairs.
Yeah, that's
because
okay, actually.
There you have 2 sets of stairs, whereas if you go down the amphitheatre, you have 1 set of stairs and a ramp.
So it's not totally abysmal, but it's not perfect either.
Exactly. As we head back towards the start, Victoria Hestad Bjornstad, and we're really getting into nearly into the last 10 starters here. Norwegian. You can see other runners behind getting ready to go. This is Emma Biesmo.
Good
She's
start.
had a great start here for the Swede. Emma Biesmo, she's had an awful lot of health challenges in the last year, receiving a diagnosis of diabetes, and she's been learning how to, you can see the patch that's on her right arm, and she's been really spending the last year, 18 months, learning how her body is adapting and figuring out how she can race at a top level, and she's got back into the Swedish team. It's a huge achievement for her, and it's a fantastic start.
Very impressive. Especially if you know the background story.
And she's not even made the best route choice decision to number 2, and she's still in touch.
Well, I mean, it's not a very, very bad choice to go south there. It's just a few meters shorter. So if you better to do that than to hesitate and think a lot about which one you should take. You can see that's the way where I was talking about, that you can go under the bridge.
Cécile Calandry into the finish though.
After this big time loss.
Not to be for her. Marika Taney though, next to make it to the castle. She's had a good start.
Still about 15-20 seconds to go, especially if you go up here.
Yep.
I was very surprised.
Yeah. The speed at which the athletes go up there, realise it's not there, go down again, the steps again, you're facing the wrong direction and go the right way to the next control, I think it's so impressive actually to recover from that mistake.
Well, I mean, you don't have many options from the point where you entered.
But it's confusing because you can kind of see through some gaps and through some archways. So even if you can't get that way, you can actually see through it. You see Kosovo just had such a great, strong start. It's been hard to match. Kosovo still in second place, but the reason why we don't have Natalia Gempela on the picture, the current leaders, because she wasn't tracked. Here is the finish though, and Sabina Hausfit.
Yeah, we saw the big mistake for her as well, so
Yeah.
also she, more than 2 minutes behind.
Yeah, it was that mistake at number 11 as well. That first control where you have to go down a level. Tough one for her.
Now from Switzerland to the finish.
But all the way into the finish, and I'm pretty sure she'll be glad that that one is done and over. Shake of the head there for Housefit. Not happy there. Here's Venla
Interesting.
Harju.
Venla Harju. Got the punch here. 9 seconds behind into 3rd position. And you can also see on the...
Good. Okay, here's Emma Biesmo again to split 2. That was the 10th control, and she's not managed to make it work here. She's got to go
she has to go
back.
Either she has to go to the left there and down the theater, which is...
Yeah,
now
the
you can see the
control's down
control,
there.
how to get there.
So she can see this. When she looked down over to her left, she could see the control.
Now you can
And,
go to the
yeah.
left here and then down the theater.
Yeah, that's the best way to go. And then the next one is fairly simple, but then it's the one after that as well. We can see if she manages to go the right route. But still having a pretty good run here, to be honest. With that mistake, I think without that mistake, that would have been very good.
It's still good.
It's still good. And it's still very impressive. I really would urge
but there's another mistake now.
Yeah, she's got to go straight back down.
Can see it. She won't get there from 12 to 13. She won't get there. She has to go down 1 level.
So Kosovo and Biesmo doing a good route choice to 9. Ida Egevid Christensen less good. And you can kind of get an indication as to what Biesmo was doing. So when the other side, just that pause there on the bridge, then down in the amphitheatre to the control, up to 12. But back towards the start, this is Elina Gempela and the young athlete.
At least one Gempele we will have a GPS tracker
Well,
on.
yes, we will have it for Elina Gempela.
Sara Hagström.
Indeed.
So let's see what kind of start she had. I think it's pretty okay. Don't go up there.
She does. Oof. But it could still be a new leading time. Let's have a look. It's pretty close. She just looks to her left. There's the control. Relief. And it's a pretty good start for Hagström, who prepared put so much time into those World Championships, training in Italy. You know, I think for athletes like her, it's this adjustment only a couple of weeks after the World Championships. I think it's athletes like her maybe who are going to find it quite tough. But back in towards the TV2 and the castle, this is Venla Harju. This is the 10th control.
This here.
Oh no, I think she's going to make the Housefit mistake.
The Gallantry Housefit mistake, yes indeed. So now we can follow. That's how it looks like if you're good. And soon she's going to realize it. Hope we stay here. So very, very soon she will realize that she won't be able to go to the left here.
It's really confusing because there's the two triangles that mean the underpass and then the wall that she's just run past next to each other.
She can't go in there.
You have to invest the time in reading that map because the wall and the underpass are right next to each other.
She even got a smile on her face when she realized it.
So I think this is the better thing to do, is to go back up the other way.
Yeah, definitely, but it's tough to do. So look at this. I mean, yeah. We've seen it a few times now. I mean, for me, it's quite clear that you can't enter there. I can understand that it's hard to understand.
I mean, we see it on the screen. It's like it looks obvious.
Yeah, but the thing is also that there was kind of a short screenshot or whatever you want to call it in the Bulletin 4 of this section. So you know that you have to be careful when you get there.
Yeah.
And it was explained how it works, kind of. I mean, how these triangles work and stuff like that. So that should be familiar for the runners. But of course, I mean, it's a stressful situation and it's hard to understand it if you haven't prepared it. But here, I think with Google kind of maps, you should prepare. If you see in the Bulletin 4 that there's a place with this, then you should be prepared that it's here.
Yeah, and even if you're only starting your preparations a week before, that's enough time to go on
But of
Google
course,
Maps,
I mean, it won't help you if you think that you can enter through the wall here. So I don't think it would have helped Venla Harju in this situation, because she just thought that she would get through there and even Google wouldn't help her there.
No, absolutely not.
Victoria Estad Björnstad.
Yep, she has managed it. But let's go back to the start. Here is Hannah Lundberg. And
one of the very interesting names as well for today. So strong in almost every discipline already.
Yeah, she's already won a World Cup bronze in the sprint. That was in Borås in Sweden last year. Also had a top 10 European champs as well. This is Victoria Estad Björnstad. We saw her nipping down there towards control number 11. Back up now here to control number 12, and she's got to get this right. She does. In fact, she's one of the best we've seen through there. She was really prepared. Here's... Yes.
I think this is going to be good now. Sara Hagström getting towards control 11. Her time at control 9 was very good already, so this looks very, very good for Hagström.
And Hagström had a good time through the castle as well. That first TV point, if she gets this right...
I mean, it looks very much as she got it right here towards control 11.
Yeah, let's look at this time.
At this.
Strong work here.
In the finish, we have Natalia Gemperle in the lead, so we can more or less compare her to Gemperle. The gap is 19 seconds.
Emma Biesmo then in towards the finish. Great to see her back in a Swedish vest, and it's going to be inside the top 5 now. She goes into 5th, equal 5th with Victoria Marg of Hungary, and great to see that result then from Emma Biesmo with a few slip-ups, but nothing too dramatic at all. Meanwhile, the current leader, Natalia Gemperle, looking at her phone. Here is Alina Gemperle, her stepdaughter, but she goes up the Swiss trap. Hasn't got it quite there, and you can see she's already late. Just as the seconds go by, losing places, but not being too bad. She's just not quite ready for this section here. Losing seconds here and there. 29 seconds down. Back at the start though, here's Teresa Janashikova.
Well, I mean, before the competition I would have said that this is the big hope for the Czech runners, but now we have Kosova in the finish and she is still in 2nd position.
Yeah, I know Janashikova was really excited for these home World Cup, and she's so experienced as well. See just how she's folding that map up, getting a good look at that first control. Pretty easy one. Second control, big route choice. But she's been racing sprints for the senior team for many years, good few years when she was still a junior as well, and turning back out of the control is a good option. Making a good start. Oh, nearly stopping there. Yep.
I'm not sure if she's going to be well prepared for what's coming.
No, you can see just some kind of a little bit chaotic there. Yeah, she goes up. And then he has to stop there.
Many moments of hesitation just in one sequence here. Another one here. That actually was quite okay. See, into 23rd, 24 seconds behind.
through that control. Let's head back to the start, and we're now into the last 3 starters. Here's Eleanor Ross, and she has announced she will retire at the end of this season. She's such a good sprinter as well. Silver medal from European champs back in 2021. But let's take Marika Taney then to the finish.
But far behind.
Far behind.
I mean, you saw it as well when it happened. More than 2 minutes behind.
Yeah, a lot of the big names being casualties from these gardens, and a lot of them ending up seeing exactly their Calendry as well. 2 minutes down here.
This is going to be interesting now.
Yeah, let's have a look. We didn't see her into the castle, so not sure how it all
look
went.
at that.
Oh, goes into the lead there by 2 seconds, and is faster than Sara Hagström as well.
But she was actually 7 seconds ahead just before the pre-warning, and we know that Sara Hagström also did a small mistake there into this control, so there must have been some hesitations also for Hanna Lundberg. Look at this here.
Let's see what happened then. Oh,
Different route choices. It's a bit further to go distance-wise for Lundberg. The Olsen option should be the shortest at least. But of course, I mean, if it's just a few meters difference, then the amount of turns you have to take is quite important as well.
so here is Simone Abersol, I think one of our 2 big favourites, her and of course Tove Alexandersen, who starts last, but she is the new middle distance world champion. And how well will she be able to adapt to going back towards a sprint?
She's never been winning a sprint competition so far, internationally.
We're going different way out there, not sure that's the best. Here's Andrina Benjaminsen, who I always think of so much as a forest orienteer, but she's got a 4th, she was 4th in the world champs in the sprint race last year, so she's really such a strong all-rounder. Oh no, yeah, going up the steps again, all the way to the top, surprised, just looks to her left.
Even taking a look back to, really?
Really? No. They've just kind of gone up behind there. You can just see that the pace she's going through that bit is very careful.
Oh, and this is going to be interesting now.
Okay, Sara Hagström into the finish, and the seconds, it's single figures now of seconds. She's not going to be quick enough. Yeah, she's going to drop behind. This is not going to be the lead.
She was 20 seconds ahead at the
Oh my goodness me, what has
12.
happened here for Sara Hagström? It will be a very clear second place, but Natalia Gempela still in the lead. Oh, I want to know what happened there to Sara Hagström, because
must have been a route choice or a mistake, because she lost more than 20 seconds. So look at this. 12, that was good. Going out, 13 was good. Hesitating there quite a lot.
Yeah, like almost doubled back. No, this. Yeah, that's not a good route choice here.
But it was worse. The hesitating was worse, actually.
Here's Caroline Olsen, I think.
Or 2. No, Caroline Olsen, yeah. So let's see. Didn't lose much more time from the last radio control.
Yeah, so 30 seconds down, still puts in
there you shouldn't go.
There you really shouldn't go. Oh, here's Teresa Yamashikova also making this mistake. Oh, realises quickly, but she's already 20 seconds down on entering that castle. So it's going to be 30 seconds down here, and that's hard to make back up. So only 3 more runners yet to make it to this point.
Elena Roos, Simone Abersol and Tove Alexandersen.
Yes, and here is the last starter. Here's Tove Alexandersen. She won the World Champs in when it was held here in the Czech Republic. I remember she made like a 20-30 second mistake, and she still won it.
Yeah, it was very
Memorable.
Yeah, exactly. It was a route choice, a very, very bad route choice.
Yeah, a really bad route choice, and yet she still managed to win it.
I think it was a bad route choice plus a mistake on the route.
Yes.
So it's
Whoa! Hang on.
talking about a mistake. So she missed the entrance.
Oh, but she's going to go the other side of the building.
It will cost her about 7-8 seconds, but still it's unexpected.
Yeah.
This is Hanna Lundberg.
Well, Hanna Lundberg was fastest at the castle, so let's have a look.
Maybe.
Let's see what the time is. No!
Oh, she must have done that mistake.
She must have done a mistake here.
House with mistake.
Oh man,
I mean, we could continue that list. Calendar house with what was it, Harju?
Yeah.
And now she's doing another one.
Yeah. You have to do this bit well in order to make.
Look at this.
I
guess
work.
It must be
big.
at
11.
Yeah, it's so big. It must have been 11. Yeah, indeed. And here she says it. But then turning back from there is a good thing.
Better, yeah.
But imagine the anxiety you get when you're standing there for closed doors.
Yeah, here it's Simona Abersold though. You can see she brings the map so close. She's spending so much time. This is so much time for the elites reading here. And look at this time! Oh no, doesn't go well here.
But I mean, it doesn't really matter because everybody's doing it.
Yeah. This looks good for a new leading time, and with Lundberg making the mistake, we saw her making that mistake, it opens the door for Abersold for me. So she finds that control and is 6 seconds ahead, with only Tove Alexanderson still to come. Is this Andrina Benjaminsen?
Yes.
It is indeed.
We have to see. Now we will soon know if she had a good route or not. Don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
But it's hard to say if she dropped behind due to a big miss. She was already 34 seconds behind.
Yeah, so maybe done this bit well, but not previous sections.
Not very well, but maybe not a big mistake. Okay, that's okay here.
Yeah, but she's 54 seconds down.
Now you should go down there.
Yeah. It's not. I don't think it's too bad to go the other way.
But the thing is,
it's not a mistake. It's not the best.
During the time you are on those different levels, you should try to spot the controls or the location for the controls and try to figure out on which level they are.
When?
In order to, I mean, when you're heading into control 11, you have like 10 seconds of that time, both back and forth. So you have a bit of time where you could prepare that one. At least the one to 13.
Well, if you had a view into the commentary box, you'd see I'm raising my eyebrows to that comment because I don't think you've really got time to spot it at all. Right, let's see Alexanderson beat Abersold. Alexanderson also goes up and she is now pretty much late. Oh, nearly a crash with the running camera operator. So Alexanderson not as quick then as Abersold, and now everybody has been through this point. Everybody's been through TV control number 1, and Abersold in the lead by 6 seconds. It's so close. Here's Yanashikova. Will she manage to do this well? Nearly, yes. So she figures out this section, but she is 36 seconds down.
But down from here, if you go to control 11, you have until you know that you have to get back to this point.
Yeah.
Then you have like 15 seconds dead time because you can spot the control when you run towards the control until you're there again. So you have a bit of time there to prepare. Of course, you can't prepare many controls, but 1 or 2 you should be able to.
So here's Eleanor Ross. You can see her looking over her right shoulder to see where the control is, but she's managed to figure this one out, I think.
So from here until she's here again, you have all the time to prepare because you can see the control here. So now you should take the time to read the map.
She looked at the map once in that section.
Yeah.
Now twice.
So now you could see spot ahead and look that you should get back even to control 13 back to this level and continue out there. That was my idea. Of course, it's very easy to say, and you have to read ahead 2 controls, which is not very easy in sprint. But you get the chance every now and then to do things like this. But into 3rd, which is
an equal time with Gempela, who's a current leader.
Oh, yeah, she's heading down. That's good.
Okay. She can do something here. Oh, I don't think she's got a World Cup win, has she? Has Eleanor Ross? So what a great way to see her.
Well, not in
her
sprint
final
at least.
season. Yes.
She has one in I think it was a long distance in Grindelwald.
Yes, I remember that race. It was very, very exciting. Did commentary from a gondola, stationary gondola on that one. It was quite interesting.
That
okay.
doesn't look good for Abersold. Yeah.
No, there
So
we go.
she's out of the fight for the victory as well.
And does she continue? We're live with her, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to go around the bottom of the house. Yeah, there she is. That's it. The number of 11s I'm
and
writing
she's
down
going
here.
all the way around.
Yeah.
So that's what did he say about a minute of time loss?
Yeah, I think about a minute. We just wait for Abersold. Right, Hannah Lundberg, what's she able to do? Remember, she dropped time with that mistake at number 11 again, but so few athletes have been able to do that well.
So now we can actually say that it's Elena Roos and it is Tove Alexandersson that can be a threat.
Yeah, I think that's
for Natalia
it.
Campele.
How was Andrina Benjaminsen doing? Was she too
She
far
was,
down?
yeah, she was far too way down, too far down. She doesn't stop to run.
Yeah, no pausing at all. Yeah, she just wants to get out of there.
Yeah,
she really wants to get out of there. Let's see, does she do this well?
That looks good.
It does look good, so that's 10 to 11 here.
She was 15 seconds behind at the pre-boarding, but not behind Campele. She was actually ahead of Campele.
Okay, let's see what she's able to do. She looks quick through this section. She really looks speedy. She's able to cut that high speed, keep contact to the map. This is looking really good. But if she's able to sort out the next leg...
And I mean, it's compared to Hagström, so we have to compare her to Campele, of course. That's good. That's really good. No problems here either.
She's definitely solved it. We can catch her on the drone here. Down through this amphitheatre, and for me, that pretty much.
Look at, I mean, Abersold was
ahead.
far ahead at control 10, but look at this time loss now. All the way around. There would have been the chance to head north, just between the buildings, but it would have been slow as well, of course.
So Andrina Benjaminsen in towards the finish, again making mistakes. She's going to be a minute down, and the Norwegian crossing the line outside the top 20.
She is now number 21, 59 seconds behind.
Okay, so with Andrina Benjaminsen into the finish, we have 4 women left out in the field. We've got Teresa Janášíková from Czechia, Elena Ross from Switzerland, Simona Abersold from Switzerland, and Tove Alexandersson from Sweden. We think only Elena Ross and Tove Alexandersson can challenge the lead that's been held for a good kind of 4 hours, basically.
Maybe a top 10 for Janášíková.
What can she do here? Going to have a huge cheer on from the Czech crowd. She's going to work hard on these final stages. There have been mistakes for Janášíková, but not as bad as some of the others. She's not going to be the best Czech, though. Will she end up with the top 10? I think this is looking promising for her. All the way to the line, Janášíková ends up into 6th place, so 33 seconds behind that time of Gempler. Had a pretty equal last part, I think, compared to the Swiss runner. And it's 6th then. Straight back into the map, looking maybe at the castle point. Tough running. Let's compare then. Hagström and Janášíková. Sara Hagström still in 2nd place. Remember, we don't have the comparison for Gempler because she wasn't tracked. I don't know who decided the tracking, which of the early athletes were tracked or not, but I would definitely give one to Natalia Gempler. Here's Elena Roos. What can she do? I think she's too late here to take it.
I think she's also too late for Hagström.
Could be third though. Oh, Kosovo, I think, currently in third. Let's have a look at the second. She's going to be slower than Gempela.
Slower than Hagström.
So Gempela guaranteed
Maybe into
silver.
third.
Yeah, possibly into third with a quick finish. Yeah, she's going to go into that third place. So just ahead of Denisa Kosova with only, well, we're going to count Simona's Absol out of it because of her mistake at number 11, but only Tove Alexandersson still to come. So let's have a little look at the final stages then.
And I mean, if you look at the times for Gempele, it would have been so interesting to see her GPS tracking, because at control 12, so the TV control, the second TV control, she was 25 seconds behind, of course, compared to Alexandersson, but she was also 19 seconds behind Hagström, and then at the next one she's in the lead, 10 seconds ahead of Hagström. So it would be would have been very interesting to have her GPS.
Yeah, it really would. Natalia Gempela starting very early, still the leader.
We kind of have this tendency in Czech Republic that we whiz out on the top places in the broadcast, because of it.
I think you're thinking Isaac von Krusenstjerna
exactly,
here.
at the World Championships, we never saw von Krusenstjerna, and he won the title there.
Okay, here's Simona Abersold, and actually she's had a pretty good end of the course, I think, because she was, as you can see, 49 seconds down. But Abersold outside the top three.
And I mean, it will be an easy analysis for her tonight. She knows where she lost the time. She would have definitely had the chance to win this race today. And look at the gap now. It's not that much. She lost a minute there at this control, and now she's only 30 seconds behind.
And here's Tove Alexandersson already into the park, and look at that gap.
That's
what a
massive
masterclass
gap.
again. For a race like this, it's been so tight with so many of the runners. Tove Alexandersson is already here, absolutely killing it around the end of this race, and she ends up 35 seconds quicker. She is so physically strong, and it's taken the last runner to deprive Natalia Gempela of the win there. The two of them, the top two, are good friends, and Alexandersson, she wasn't in the lead at the castle, but she's been very, very smooth through the second part, and for me, crucially, through those monastery gardens, she was absolutely spot on.
Well, I mean,
she was moving quickly and moving in exactly the right direction.
I mean,
She'd
she
really
wasn't in the
understood
lead at the castle because Simona Abersold had great speed today, but she missed out over a minute, or approximately a minute, at this control 11. But beside that, I mean, we have seen a few hesitations of Alexandersson, especially to the first control. We had it on camera, so it wasn't the perfect race, but if you look at it, it was so solid throughout the course, and with many of the other runners doing big mistakes, a solid race is exactly what you need in a difficult sprint like this.
And
Don't
I think
do any big mistake if you have the legs Alexandersson has.
Yeah, and I think that long leg up the hill to 15, she can just turn on the speed. I remember watching Maya Raun do it in 2018 at the sprint in Riga. She just, on the last few controls, just suddenly turned on the speed, even though she was already going incredibly fast. That, I think, is what Tove Alexandersson has done. She's got all the tricky bits right. She's got the speed, she's got the power, and she can manage to figure out that level section at high speed. That's incredible.
And I mean, there are a few other names to highlight. Elena Roos in fourth, good performance in fourth, and again a fourth position for her, but also sixth position Ida Agervik Kristiansson, another runner with a good, solid performance throughout the course, and in a race like this, it leads you into the top 6.
Yeah, she really, really solid. Victoria Mugg also in the top 10, and then a whole load of Swedes. I think that really is clear. Great to see a top 20 as well for Laura Robertson from the Kiwi. The sister of Tim Robertson, of course, as well. Sandra Grosberger as well, you named, making it into the top 20 for Latvia as well. And we get quite a few of the Norwegians as well. So I think really for the women's course, those sections, I mean, for both the men's and the women's, those tricky sections counting so much.
Yeah, and I mean, I really like the course planning today, because we had similar courses for the women and the men, but they were just slightly different kind of locations for the control that made it totally different route choices. And I really like that, because we've seen different options. We have seen many of the runners choosing differently, as you can see here, to the second control. Of course, in this comparison, we don't have Natalia Gampele because of the reason we mentioned many times.
I still can't believe
that we
she
don't
wasn't
know
tracked.
the reason why. She was an early starter, but still it was not totally unexpected that she could have a good race. But
There was a weird hesitation after crossing the road from Alexanderson. Yeah, because she was ahead and then almost turned right immediately after crossing the road.
you can see Alexanderson going around the building to control 8, then splitting up here. I think it's better the way to go, as Sara Hagström is doing. You can also see that she ends up quite far ahead of Alexanderson.
Yeah, but the amount of distance Alexanderson catches just on that flat.
And then this
was so
definitely
good.
the decisive
You can see just how
control.
much quicker she is going through that section compared to the others.
And I mean,
you can see it on the TV as
none
well.
of the three here had a bad control 11, but she was just so much faster.
Yeah. That's actually incredible how quickly she was going through that section.
And here it would have been so interesting to see in this section where Natalia Gampele went. Not maybe so much faster compared to Alexanderson, but compared to many of the others.
I mean, she also had better conditions as well.
So here you can see it. I mean, the margin is just huge. And I think we will hear from Alexanderson just in a second.
Yeah, I'm here with Tove Alexanderson. Congratulations on another World Cup win for you, Tove. How was your race?
Yeah, thank you. I really felt that it was a long time ago I was racing a sprint. Actually, the walk sprint was the last time, so in the beginning it was really shaky, and everything was, my head wasn't in the same speed as my legs, so, but after a while it felt better, and physically it felt great, but I couldn't push everything because I didn't have the technique today, but I'm satisfied, of course, with the race and the win.
There's a lot of other runners losing a lot of time in the short, tricky legs out there. What was your strategy to tackle them?
Oh, I also did a mistake up there when I was going up there the first time. I did a mistake, so I don't think I was better than anyone else there actually, but I had a good speed today, and I think that was what decided it.
And it's just a few weeks since we went to Switzerland for forest races. How has it been adjusting to sprint races again? What have you been doing in the last couple of weeks?
The first week after, I just wanted to recover mentally and spend time in the mountains and do things I think is fun and just let everything with orienteering go. And then last week I was focusing a bit more to prepare and did some sprint trainings, and I also ran super fun races at Bohemia 5 days here in Czech. So now I'm really looking forward for the races this weekend because I really love this terrain here.
And the shape after the World Champs, do you feel it's good to make some other wins later this week?
I think the shape is good because I didn't even feel tired today and I had apparently really high speed, so the shape must be good.
We'll see. Tove, thank you and congratulations again.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, one thing I want to say from that is how much better Tove Alexanderson has got at doing interviews, because that was so interesting to hear what she was able to say, that she didn't think she was better than the others through the tricky bits. She is totally wrong with that. She was miles better than everybody else through that section, but also that she was almost adapting to the sprint whilst on the sprint. And I think she's so good that she can just do that. And maybe take the first few controls a little bit easy, and she doesn't even need the duration of a sprint race to kind of get into that feeling of your brain and your legs not quite being in sync with each other. And yeah, that was quite exciting to see. But I think she went off running in some mountains in Sweden as a bit of a holiday beforehand, then has been racing, as she said, in the Bohemia 5 days, but that's more forest prep. Really, so little prep for the sprint has come into this, and she's done such an amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, very impressive. And as you mentioned, she was able to adapt her technique throughout the course. We saw the hesitations in the beginning. It's almost as a knife that gets sharper as it cuts. It's very strange that she kind of had the problems in the beginning, but then got sharper and sharper in the technique throughout the course.
Yeah, and to actually do that rather than doing it the other way round, that I think is really impressive actually, to do it that way round. But yeah, very exciting races from both the men's and the women's, with Ralph Street and Tove Alexanderson ending up on the top of the podiums. I think we're going to have flower ceremonies very, very shortly. We are indeed to crown the top 3 of each of the sprint races today. In the rain.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the flower ceremony.
So if we think back to the races that we had for the men's, again, really, really tight, but these runners stood out towards the end, getting all those sections right and having the high speed to match. So the bronze goes to sprint specialist Yannick Michels of Belgium. Great to see him perform well again on the sprint. Not quite the easiest winter, I think, for him injury-wise. Second place goes to the all-rounder, goes to Gustav Bergman. He, I think, should be very satisfied with that and the shape he's managed to get after those World Championships. But he really, really can't deny that he's a sprint specialist anymore, because Ralph Street has taken the gold medal here in Czechia. And I've seen the British team there cheering him on. He's not one to be subtle. I know he's absolutely buzzing with that one. And I'm sure the British fans, the British team who are here, they're also very excited. So the top 3 then, Yannick Michels, Gustav Bergman and Ralph Street.
3 nejrychlejších mužů květinového ceremoniálu. Ralph Street, Gustav Bergman, Yannick Michels.
And I mean, 2 of them, maybe not that unexpected. Gustav, such a solid, technical solid orienteer that it's kind of expected that he can handle the task of a lot of information coming towards him. Yannick Michels, the sprint specialist, maybe focusing on sprint throughout the last
season,
year.
Yeah.
But Ralph Street, really a big surprise, even though we have called him a sprint specialist. But it's still, I mean, he did exactly the same as everyone else, preparing a lot towards the Forest World Championships, and then just to switch and perform like this today is very impressive. Oh, and the first pictures from Natalia Gampel.
No, we saw her earlier. We didn't see any tracking, but we did see pictures of her, thankfully. The cameras were rolling when she was out. So we're getting ready for the flower ceremony for the top 3 women.
Ceny bude předávat člen Rady Národní sportovní agentury František Horák.
In the 3rd place, representing Sweden, Sara Ekström.
So into 3rd place for Sara Hagström.
3. místo, švédská reprezentantka Sara Hagström.
Great to see another podium for her this season. World Cup races, she's been really doing well. Another silver, another World Cup podium for Natalia Gempela, who was denied by only the last starter. And Tove Alexanderson has provided a masterclass once again of just how to do that tricky orienteering, getting the route choices right, improving as she got into that course, and the physicality at the end proving too much for everybody else. A big winning margin in the end, 35 seconds. Those are the top three then at the end of this race. Two thrilling races, one winner who we would have put on paper, Tove Alexanderson, one who we did not list in our favourites, we will confess. And we will be back at this same arena tomorrow then for the sprint relay. It's always chaos on a sprint relay at a World Cup. There are so many teams for each nation. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, there's going to be people running left, right and centre. They do, of course, get some World Cup points from today's races, and that puts Tove Alexanderson and Sara Hagström firmly at the top. Of course, Sara Hagström taking one of those wins as well. Very exciting for them as we've got the European Championships in Italy. They also count. Casper Foster, though, still leading at the top of the men's standings, but the win from Ralph Street today putting him into 5th place. We still have the middle and the long this weekend. They're also going to count for the World Cup, also going to add to that points score, but we will be returning to this arena tomorrow for some more sprinting action, where the teams will battle it out to be the best overall sprinting nation. It's going to be a very, very exciting one to watch. Hope you enjoyed these races today around the castle and the gardens, these very technical races in the old town here in Česká Lípa in Czechia. Leave you with some of the pictures, and we'll be back tomorrow for the sprint relay.
See you tomorrow.
Za necelou půl hodinku, co rovnou celá šestice. Takže užívejte si ještě zbytek sportovního dne tady v České Lípě. A začne s námi ještě naládění další půl hodinku.